Many of us say we want to be better. And as we've seen from the Brilliant series, the way that we become better people is to be like God. So he's a God of justice, he's a God of love, he's a God of grace, he's a God who is willing to be brokenhearted for the world and where it's at today. But if we want to be like God, we have to draw near to God, and that takes prayer. And that's one of the hardest things, because there's something about prayer that makes us a little bit nervous. In fact, what we see in Exodus chapter 20 is that when Moses and the people of Israel are at Mount Sinai and God is speaking to Moses, the people of Israel didn't want anything to do with God. He seemed scary and overwhelming, threatened their very lives. And that's just true for us. When we start praying to God, it feels like he is threatening our very way of life, our securities. The way that we behave has to change. But all of those things are the things that make us feel right with the world. And so what do the people of Israel do? It's pretty much what we do. The people of Israel said, we don't like that God. We don't want to talk to that God. So we'll make our own God, the one that we can control. And so they literally make their own God with their own hands and claim that this is the God that saved us, even though this golden cow wasn't even there 24 hours before, because we want to be able to make and control our own gods. But they're missing out on something. What they're missing out on is deep transformation. You see, when Moses came down from that mountain, it said his face shone. And eventually he would even have to put a veil over it because his face was so bright. The reason that it shone is because he was reflecting the very character of God, the thing that we want to be. As God is a God of justice and grace and love, that's what they saw off of the face of Moses. See, Moses spoke to and got close to God, and he wasn't killed, he was transformed. And so we have a decision to make here. We can either try to make our own gods who frankly will do nothing for us other than to be a nice ornament in our house, or we can let God make us. And it will feel a little threatening, because transformation means we have to put some of who we were aside and behind. Transformation does feel like a kind of death, but really it's a new life. So let me challenge you today on this Rewind to take your prayer life seriously. And I would encourage you, if you want to begin to cultivate your prayer life, there's a couple of simple techniques. Maybe spend some time just listening to God. Maybe allow the Psalms to pray for you. Read the Psalms or listen to them on an audiobook, and let the Psalms pray the prayers for you. Do this for 30, 45 days, and let those be your prayers. They will be a kind of coach for you. We all want to be different. We all want to change, especially in the age that we live in right now. We want to rise above, and we know to rise above, we have to know who God is. And the most powerful way to do that is to speak to him and let him speak to you.